a lot of people are wondering about ways to sort of maximize their walking, kind of looking for that extra piece.
Look at your schedule and see if there are places during your day that you might be able to go for a short walk, because I think it is that good.
What's happening when we're walking is not necessarily any kind of building of muscle. If you are not building and maintaining muscle at any point in your life, there are going to be negative impacts.
There's so many benefits that you're getting from walking. I just don't want you to lose sight of the fact that it is not replacing resistance training, and it is not replacing a workout that needs to happen on a weekly basis.
People who are living well into their older years, we're missing two huge pieces when it comes to walking that need to be filled.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
Wait, I was slurping while you...
That was
I
like
thought
a
we were
big
getting one
gulp.
last drink. I was
I
slurping
forgot water.
because I'm at the tail end of my coffee, and I might make another one because that's how I'm feeling.
That's how you're feeling on this day? You were
Okay.
like, I choose violence and anxiety.
Yeah, they're better together. They're like PB&J. Better together. Anxiety plus violence equals my Wednesday today. But I had to tell you this funny thing that happened to me because I so if you
You want to start that over?
oh my God.
I said,
See, it doesn't even do the good things for me. It just confuses me. There's some people, they're like, all right, I'm gonna have my
Get
coffee, I'm gonna be
sharper.
sharp, I'm gonna be on, mine's just like what I imagine it's like to have ADHD.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit of everything everywhere, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of not finishing sentences and being confused.
Yeah. That is what it's like. That is what
Is
it's
that what
like.
it is that does anybody else get that from caffeine? Like, is that
I'm
we're
an
pumping the last
opposite
legal drug
caffeine.
here.
I'm an opposite caffeine. So for a lot of people who don't know, a lot of people with ADHD, when they have coffee in the morning, it tends to have an opposite effect. Instead of making them more scattered, it makes them more focused and a little bit more like, I don't even want to say relaxed, because that's not the right descriptor. I've heard other people explain it that way, but that's not personally how I feel. But it makes you feel more targeted, I think, rather than like, there's so much to do today, there's so many things going on. That's how I wake up feeling most of the time. And then like the more I get into my caffeine, I'm like, I just take on one task at a time.
See, this is that I get for you then. I get why it is a stimulant,
Mhm.
which
Which people who
is
are already high stimulants, other stimulants, it goes like this,
right, because most commonly prescribed meds for ADHD is stimulants. It's like a known thing, and caffeine's one of them. And so it's like, okay, yeah, but see, I get why you would use that drug, but why would I use it? It doesn't make any
I
sense
know
for me.
people with anxiety. Now let's talk to the people with primarily, because we're all like, not we're all. A lot of people have a little spice in every direction. Let's call it. But my
We're gonna go.
anxiety, it's my anxiety. Have you heard that song? You should have
No,
that on in the morning. But
no,
people
no.
who are a
We
little bit more anxious. No, you don't have that on in the morning?
well, no. Why would I? Do you want to listen to songs about ADHD in the morning? No,
Well,
I'm living it. I'm
it's
good.
it's kind of like a little jazz though, like they put like a little tune on it, and then you get to like be friends with your anxiety. Like I'm friends with my ADHD. Like we're not at odds, like we're friends, and we just go like,
That's next
"Hey, we're
level.
just gonna take on one task at a time. We are not overwhelmed."
Yeah,
We're
you three,
friends.
you and your coffee and your
Yeah.
tea, but us three are we're
Are
not
worried about the
vibing.
world.
It's It's too
Well, what I was gonna
much.
say is my friends with anxiety, you might wanna just dial back the caffeine a little bit in the morning or,
But what about the
definitely throughout the day.
violence, though?
If I wanna choose violence, I gotta go with matcha.
No, that's true. I can choose, better and more laid back options, but, I know what I wanted out of this day.
You go for it, girlfriend. You wanted loud slurps and
It's gonna end bad. Um, so today is a great day, because we're addressing well, I'm not see, I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
be
to go
cranky. I'm
for it.
gonna be yeah, I'm going the different direction.
Mhm.
Today we're gonna talk about Walkmaxxing. I get a little chuckle when I say the things that the kids are saying.
I'm so hip with it.
My husband was like, "Oh, did you hear about these young boys and the look maxing? These poor things. They have to,
Yeah.
they have to do all have all these measurements on their face and all these jaws and all these things." And I'm thinking to my I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
Be
I
honest.
just got back from a Botox appointment, and you're gonna talk to me about the how it's a poor thing that these boys are now needing to be more handsome than they previously were with enhancements. What's that like?
What's that like? Um, I've dabbled in some of the discussion around this look maxing for the male youth, and as I was on my run this week, I started really
Like
going off
this?
on it, like running. I was doing
Oh,
Murph, so I had to run, so I had to do the run part.
okay. Because I was
Um,
like, I didn't know if you were, like, running off on a train of thought or, like, actually I should have
that's what
known
I
that it
do
wasn't
when
actually.
I'm actually physically I do a lot of good discussions when I'm working out, which is just a whole I'm sure a lot of people do, but I have my best thoughts. I have a lot of good arguments there too. There's no one
Oh, yeah.
answering, you know?
That in the shower. I
That
mean,
in the shower, I'm, like,
nothing
hitting it
better.
hard. I'm like and then I just start, like, making these weird faces. If anyone knew what was
Reacting to how
actually
what they woulda said. Nuh-uh.
I gotta tell you guys this, though, as a side tangent because of who I am. My son has recently decided that he has reactions, and he's really honing in on one, which is shock and awe. So everything that comes out, it's like this
Oh my god, I'm living for that.
It's
I'm
like
living for that.
every little thing. You turn the page, like, he's just going for it. So
I'm living for Rory goes, "Gasp." That like, actually says that.
Yeah, the
I don't know,
youth.
that's like he's like, "Yo, chat, gasp." And I'm like, "What?
You
What did you
could just
say?"
gasp. Do you know that actually goes along with a physical gasp?
No,
You
that
don't have to say
means
the word
that means,
LOL.
"Yo, chat," that's everybody or some one person, or it can be a lot of things. Yo,
It
chat,
mean a
gasp
lot
is
of things.
like, "Whoa, everybody, I'm surprised."
Yeah.
Yo, chat, gasp.
Oh god, I love the youth. Um, but
The
I have watched
Utes.
these, like, thing with the young men feeling some societal pressures to conform to a certain look or to improve their physical appearance. And I just wanted to say, in one on one side of me, I do feel a strong I feel bad. I feel empathy and I feel like that's a horrible way to live. And I also feel like we need to acknowledge that women have shouldered this for so long and this is not a new
Welcome.
concept at all with, like, body conforming and a certain look and the lips and the whole thing.
You know
He's
how
just
many
running away from
times
me.
Oh, come back. You know how many times they're like, "Oh, well, this is so the tragedy of them, measuring their jaw to their cheek and having to fall." Do you know how many times I measured my boobs in middle school? Do you know how many times?
100%. Or your
Maybe
forehead.
every day
I once
for the
thought
entire 6th grade.
yes, for the entire 6th grade. See, that's so sad, and that's why
No
I
growth.
do have
No
a
growth
lot of
yet.
empathy. No growth yet. Might as well stuff some stuff in there.
Well, here goes the water balloons. They're going for another ride, hoping that no one has anything sharp.
No, no one hug me too hard.
Don't hug me too hard.
That's why I have a lot of empathy for them, but I really want to, like, we need to acknowledge just, like, as a general group that, like, women have been subjected to this for such a long period of time and have shouldered the burden of all of these measurements and picking apart, and we still do. Where this thought process led me to was things like, we did, some red carpet or, what the stars were doing, and I cannot remember one man as part of the examples of like men are really changing their physical aesthetic to being much thinner. What are we doing here? That's never happened. We've never on the tabloids, on social media, we've never dissected a man's body, weight gain, loss, muscle in the way that we have women. We've never done it. They show up in
They
their
literally
suits.
go on the red carpet and stand in all the same tux. No one
Yes.
asks them who they're wearing
You got a
or,
little belly under there? Did you have a baby? No? What? What? Women's bodies are literally doing the most incredible things throughout their entire lifespan and hormonal change, the whole gamut. And we are dissecting every little piece of gain, loss, muscle, blah, blah, blah. Demi Moore is in the headlines right now for, her arms. But we have never done this with men. I couldn't rattle off a man to you that we have been like, well, when he gained weight back when he was postpartum in new dad life, you know what I
no, well, I
mean?
mean, sometimes we'll say, like, oh, look at all he did for that role. Oh,
Yeah,
he gained all the weight for the role. Oh, he gained all that muscle for that role. What an amazing actor. That
yeah,
makes
what
him.
an amazing actor, because we equate it to his performance in his role of his job.
So, listen,
Wow.
we have the sympathy, okay? The sympathy is there. None of the youths should be subjected to any sort of measurements of anything or feeling these societal pressures.
Mhm.
However, welcome to the party,
Yeah.
50% of the population. Okay. Um, so Walkmaxxing is our kind of term for how hot walking is right now in the fitness world.
Mhm.
Everybody's walking. Everybody loves it. Everybody's turned on to walking. And I love this because, first of all, anything that takes mainstream hold and it's like any type of movement or health related or outside or any of that. I'm like, yes, let's do more of that. I love that. I love that for everyone. Society needs to be outside more, off their phones, and doing physical movement. So, walk maxing is I'm all here for. I would like to say that we are doing an episode on walking because I think that a lot of people are using it as their primary physical movement and are wondering about ways to sort of maximize their walking. What is their walking doing for their health? What are some of the benefits of walking? And kind of looking for that extra piece as far as like, um, you know, the core message here is really that walking is an amazing, amazing human bodily function that we should be all doing every day. Um, is it enough exercise? I think that's what we want to discuss today. Because if this is kind of your only form of movement and exercise, we want to bring up some possibilities of ways that you can maximize walking and also, some of the benefits of some different types of training as well.
Honestly, I think on this topic, I'm gonna come in a little controversial, and I'm okay with that. Because although I love getting outside, I love anyone doing any type of movement, and that's how you're using it, that is the backdrop to what I'm about to say. But I do think that this, recent momentum that has been generated around walking is extremely toxic, and I'm not here for it. I although I'm saying, like, yeah, get outside and walk, but, like, this whole, like, movement behind, "Oh, walking is the best form of exercise, get out there and get your walking in," like, the kind of group that has co-opted this, like, Walkmax is the group that is really pushing, like, skinny is the outfit and, the best thing that you can do to lose weight is walking and just walk miles and miles and miles, and like, that is the group that is mainly talking about walking, and no, no,
Oh, I get
no.
you. I
No,
get you.
not
I
here
didn't
for it.
see, um I'm not really so much in the walking out. I'm, like, in the
Right, with the
old
youth.
school walking algorithms where you call up your mom, you're like, "You wanna go for a walk?" And we, like, go I hadn't known that the Fitfluencers had hijacked this as a way to, um
Not get bulky
body
is what
dysmorphia
it is.
again.
Body
Man, that's
dysmorphia,
always
and
at
it's
the
this next
backdrop.
group that's really coming up that don't have the experience of, and I'm just gonna say it how I say it, don't have the experience of the 30, 40, 50-year-olds who understand that in your youth is a really important time to build and maintain muscle, build strong bones, and build a capable body that is going to make you a capable grandma, an older person, a person who's like just has the ability to move without pain when you're older, and walking is just not going to do that. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it is, because when it comes to walking and utilizing this type of exercise, do I think that walking should be a staple in movement on a daily basis? Absolutely. Do I think that if you want to get into movement today and you want to go for a walk? Yes, absolutely. But what I'm going to tell you is this is a health and fitness podcast, and you need to be working out a couple times a week, and that includes strength training. That doesn't mean that you skip those things, and on the days that you're like, "I'm just gonna get some movement in," go for a walk. Yes, that's perfect, because you don't work out 7 days a week, and you shouldn't be working out 7 days a week. So on the rest of those days when you're living the rest of your life, when you're going for walks, beautiful, love that, but it's not your workout.
Okay, you came in hot. I love that for you. I really do. You know, here's the thing. I now walking as an old person, not taking into account, this where the young the young fitfluencers have taken walking. I love walking because of its accessibility.
Yeah,
Just generally. I don't think there is anyone intimidated by going for a walk. There is no one that says like, "Oh, I don't belong in the group of walkers."
yeah.
Um, I have to watch a bunch of YouTube videos before I go out walking. These are the things that we see with people who might wanna start a gym journey, or who might wanna start lifting on a regular basis or, start to bring some strength training in. So I love the accessibility of walking
And if you
because
have a kid with you,
oh my
you
god,
can
a
put
kid
him
or
in
a
the
dog.
stroller. Yeah, like that I love that, because in so many I know, like, so many parents are like, "Well, I can't get to the gym," and even if I start to do some movements going on, like, everyone just starts hanging on me or crying or something, but if I put them in the stroller and I go for a walk, I can get some movement in, and I love it for that as well. Or if you're in a nap time that is gonna be like, "Well, we're gonna have a little stroller nap because you won't go down," then you can go for a walk. There's a ton of accessibility there for so many different people in different stages where, the workout has a lot of barriers to it.
So you already know we make the best workout gear, but one of our best products, our highest rated product on our website is actually
our collagen. If you have not heard about Glow Up by CVG, you are missing out. There is almost 700 five-star reviews on this product because it is such an amazing supplement. Actually, looking at it today, there are only 2 one-stars that were meant to be 5 stars. They love the product, they hit the wrong amount of stars. This is one of our most popular products for a reason. It dissolves like no other collagen. It's type 1 and 3. You're gonna have healthier skin, better joint mobility. Everything about this collagen makes it easy to put into your daily routine. So if you haven't tried Glow Up, get on cvg.com and make sure to add it to cart today. It's our best product.
I love the accessibility for the fact that it's free, that it's not intimidating, that it's low impact, that it's for literally any age. But what I want to, and what I think we both want to do with this podcast, is just point out some of the gaps that can happen if this is your primary form of exercise and your only form of exercise, because while it has tremendous benefits on both your mental and physical health, and we are going to absolutely hit on those because you cannot ignore the benefits of the walk. The walk is Hot Girl Walk is, I mean, the amount that can get solved world
Mhm.
problem wise on a Hot Girl Walk, let's go. You know what I mean? But I just we have to look at the full picture and we have to look at our full health because as you said, there are what's happening when we're walking is not necessarily any kind of building of muscle. And we have to address the fact as a health and fitness podcast that if you are not building and maintaining muscle at any point in your life, there are going to be negative impacts for the lack of muscle. So while I love that, we can all get out there and nobody's kind of intimidated or held back by price or any of that with walking, um, we will talk about the gaps, but I do think that we wanna
I
talk
think
about
there's I think there's a place for walking in your movement overall. There's an absolute place for it, and if you haven't incorporated some type of walk into your movement on a weekly basis, like I would really encourage you to do that. Sometimes just in the morning, getting outside and going, and it doesn't have to be long, but it's just outside. It's a low stress. It beats sitting on your phone and kind of like building up some of that anxiety. It regulates blood sugar. You can, do it with people that are good for your soul, and it's outside for a lot of us that are moving into, not me personally, but a lot of us that are moving into outside weather conditions that are more conducive to walks. This can be an extremely good source of like getting some vitamin D in. I would definitely encourage you to look at your schedule and see if there are places during your day that you might be able to go for a short walk, because I think it is that good. I do think it is that good. I think it is something that after a meal at dinner time, my family goes for a walk every night after dinner. They finish up, everyone goes to the door because they know exactly what we're doing, and it just kind of was a natural progression for us that took place with like we get out of the house before we get into bath time, and everyone just walks. It helps our digestion. We just finished up our meal and now we're just going to kind of like, continue to check in with each other before we go down for our or before we go up for our bath. So I do think that if you haven't figured out like a place to kind of incorporate this in your life, I do think it's very worth doing.
I love the morning, especially with all of the studies coming out about if you struggle in any way with sleep, the number one way to help your circadian rhythms is to be getting sunlight into your eyeballs within 30 minutes of waking. That sets the circadian rhythm to like that wake up and sleep cycle, and especially if you're having trouble falling asleep at night, um, this is so beneficial, and every single study that looks into this is just, like, reaping with benefits.
I
Some
will
more of this.
say I incorporated that morning one when we did. If you guys didn't listen to a podcast, we did, like, a biohacking podcast, and it was followed up by, some grounding work, and we just had done a lot of research on, getting outside and some, like, bare feet and, like, just the benefits of the first 30 minutes of your day. I had been struggling with sleep for a bit because I was pregnant, and I was like, "Well, I'm willing to try anything at this point." And I started incorporating it then, and it's never gone away since, because it has felt that good of a reset for me in the morning that now it's just a part of, you know, bare feet and you just go walking outside. Like, it just has made its way into different transitions of life, and then getting a baby and bringing him outside, that it's worked its way along, and I can definitely tell you my wake ups and sleep has significantly improved, and I've been probably doing it for, um, over a year and a half now consistently, and I think it's incredible.
Some more of the science of what's actually happening internally when you walk. Um, this is not just a physical movement. This is absolutely a full reset of your nervous system. So, the rhythmic movement and the low impact of this activity, it reduces your cognitive overload. I know that people really like to go walking with somebody and kind of, you're always talking out the problems. A lot of people like to walk with podcasts. Are you walking with us right now? We're walking outside with you, and
I'm so
all
glad
three of us are
you're here.
besties. Yeah, a lot of people use it as a time of learning, but basically what this is doing, whether or not you're listening, talking, or just in the sounds of nature, what this is doing is just resetting like a lot of your cognitive abilities. So, any of that overload that was happening, that's, you know, going down with every single step you take. And it's really, really, really great for dopamine exposure at a low impact. So, all of these things, oh, it improves your circulation. The other thing, if you are not walking for recovery, ooh, I'm going to tell you, anytime you can improve your circulation at a low impact, your recovery is going to be significantly faster. And just like in general, you're going to be feeling like your joints and mobility are working at a higher level. So I really, really love also walking for recovery as well. If you've had a really hard workout and you're super, super sore, don't sit. Go for a walk. I'm telling you, it's going to significantly improve your recovery. The thing is, with highlighting all of the amazing benefits of walking, and we are looking at this as an incredibly healthy activity, the thing that's missing here is that when people get stuck in the like, I got to hit 10,000 steps, and that means that I've hit my health goals for today, and that means I've hit my exercise goals for today. And this is like a very common thing when people use their step count as their indicator of whether or not they have hit their movement goals for the day. The problem here is that walking alone does not provide any resistance training. So there is no muscle growth from walking. There is none happening, not any. And also, when it comes to your cardiovascular health, the majority of people are not walking at a pace that is increasing their VO2 max in any way. Their heart rate is not significantly elevated. So we aren't really training two of the very, very important systems when we think about longevity and people who are living well into their older years, we're missing two huge pieces when it comes to walking that need to be filled. So when we think about like, well, I've hit my 10,000 steps and that's great, and I've hit my movement goals for today, and I feel good about my calorie burn, for example, that ain't it, sister. That ain't all we have to do.
When you're thinking about, and I do want to talk to the people who are like just like significantly focused on their calories burned. And honestly, like I don't think that's the majority of our audience just because you've been here and you've listened before. But maybe if you're new here, welcome. I do want you to think about go back to the metabolism episode that we did previously. And when you're thinking about the number of calories burned on a daily basis and what that's actually doing to your metabolic rate and what your biggest bang for your buck is when it comes to increasing your metabolic rate or having a healthy metabolic rate, we need to look at resistance training. So essentially, when you're walking, you're not doing anything to increase your metabolic rate, your resting metabolic rate. So when we're looking at like the things that are going to be putting that cash in the piggy bank for later, that's not what we're doing with walking. So while I think that like that walking does have, because we're looking at the whole person here. So it's not just thrown out and then like, oh, it's useless. That's not true. It's not useless. It has a place within your movement. It has a place within your mental health. It has a place within the space of your life where you're saying like, I'm going to get some movement in. I'm going to get outside. I'm going to get some fresh air. I'm going to, you know, after a meal, or I'm going to talk to people while I go. There's so many benefits with the circulation and recovery. There's so many benefits that you're getting from walking. I just don't want you to lose sight of the fact that it is not replacing resistance training and it is not replacing a workout that overall for health and longevity needs to happen on a weekly basis.
So when we think about women specifically, and like, if you are a person who is kind of is new to the podcast and is using walking as sort of a calorie burn, a tracker or whatever, if you want to burn like 2 times the amount of calories out on your walk, you know what you could do? You put on like 10 pounds of muscle. That would immediately
10 pounds of muscle. Facts.
not walk longer, not walk faster, not walk like it literally. You can do twice the amount of calorie burn if you just put on a decent amount of muscle. And also, when speaking to women specifically, one of the most important things that I want to say about women, I know that people get into a bit of an older age and they feel like maybe walking is kind of their only choice left for exercise.
Yeah.
When we're thinking about bone density, and I know my post and perimenopausal ladies are thinking about this, and they know it's mainstream now that we need to maintain our bone density. Walking is, while it is an amazing thing and is helping for many other things, it is not maintaining bone density because it doesn't have that resistance piece. So when we're thinking about ways that we're going to stay healthy in the long run, and we're kind of thinking like, oh, maybe I'm too old for the weights. First of all, no. Secondly, very,
No.
very important. Secondly, no. Third, no, because you have to maintain bone density, especially women, as we age. And the only way that we know of right now to do that is to make sure that your body is getting a fair amount of resistance training. And if that means bands, that's fine. If that means a set of lighter dumbbells, that's fine. But we need to be building some resistance in that to maintain that bone density.
So I want to talk about bone density and to my ladies that are in this crowd. Osteoporosis is being relabeled as a silent killer for women. It is the number one reason why women lose their independence in their later years. 80% of women over around the age of 60 end up breaking a bone just to normal impact, not like skydiving or anything. Normal impact activities, they end up breaking a bone because their bones are so fragile at that point. Historically, I think that the next generation of women coming up, we're going to lower those statistics significantly because we have been lifting earlier and we haven't been subjected to quite as many toxic languages around the gym, lifting, and fitness. But when it comes to osteoporosis, our audience is primarily women, and it is a silent killer for women because you know why women lose their independence in their later years and eventually become fatal. It's a fall. They break a bone from a fall. The fall usually contributes to lack of mobility and,
Right.
mobility after the fall, and eventually, sometimes, infection eventually like ends their life. This isn't my opinion. This is the number one reason. And if we're not thinking about how to strengthen our bones to be able to sustain and to be able to protect us in those later years from a fall, we're doing it wrong. And I can't say this enough because when when the skinny is back and the walking is your best thing, and we're ignoring the primary reason why we are losing independence in our later years and is eventually killing us, that is a disservice to women. And when we think about like, well, I'm just too old to lift the weights. We did 3 no's on that, but I want to just lean into that just a little bit more because if you think that you're having a lower impact with going for a walk and that's just easier rather than strength training, I want you to just step back and realize that that is a false narrative that's been built in your mind. Because when we're talking about strength training and we're talking about standing RDLs, we're talking about lifting weights over our heads, right? At a very manageable weight. You're not gonna strict press 200 pounds. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that as we age and we start to become more, we're leaning over, we start to shrink, and we're looking at how can we work against that? How can we pull our shoulders back? How can we lift things overhead that give our posture a fighting chance in this life? And that is resistance training. That's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about we want you to live a long, happy, healthy life and not be afraid of the weights because it's going to save your life.
It's I love that tangent. That's my favorite tangent. Play that back again because um I did not know that it was being labeled as a silent killer. I can't say I'm surprised. Um my mother-in-law just had a very, very minor fall from just standing, like not anything up high. Like she was just standing where she was standing on the ground, went to catch herself with her wrist, broke her wrist. Um, this is
My mother-in-law had a fracture in her foot just walking. And I'm sure a lot of women are sitting there, they're thinking, and they're saying like, "Oh, I know." If you just have to, the 100% of the people in this podcast think of someone in that
right.
age range that is
Yes.
physically related to us, and we can have that. Imagine what the stats are showing, and I'm just sitting here going like, we do have the answer to this, and it has historically felt scary, or it has felt maybe less accessible, or it has felt like it's easier. I'm in this age range, so I just need to walk. And it's like, that's not true. We're talking about less impact here. We're talking about standing. We're talking about movements that are going to be comfortable for your body where it's at today in order to just build some resistance to this world.
If that's not what we all need at some level, I mean,
We're going to take a quick break to get you a whole bunch of friends.
do you like Friends?
We have about 80,000 amazing women friends, more than that, in one space that can't wait to cheer you on in your fitness journey.
Whether it's lifting you up, getting you motivated to get to the gym, complimenting your outfit, we have gathered 80,000 of the best women on the planet and put them all in one place for your friendship pleasure.
Honestly, I would just, like, pull out some of the amazing quotes from the group because, like, you would think groups like this, you're like, I don't know," and I'm telling you, once you enter in the door, the virtual door, because you can do this anywhere, that you will find the most supportive community you have ever known, and it's called Stronger Together by CVG. You can find us on a Facebook group. It's a closed group, women only, and you gotta get in there.
Get in there. It's so inspiring. Join us today. All right. So, if you are invested in kind of making your walking even better, here's where we get to really like Walkmaxxing here, because I know that people are going to be wondering about things like weighted vests. I mean, if you're a millennial, I see you out there. You're walking two dogs with a weighted vest. I see you, girl. I know what you're doing, and I'm here for it because there is a really important piece there that people are getting, which is, hey, that is a bit of resistance training, right? So we know we're missing it and we're adding it via weighted vest. Now, I'm not going to oversell the weighted vest, okay? It is nowhere near as effective as a pair of dumbbells would be for 30 minutes. However, if you are looking to add a bit of challenge to your walks, is a weighted vest going to help? Yes, absolutely. It's providing a different stimulus for your body, which is always good. Whenever you are challenging your body to something outside of what it normally walking is just a normal function of your body. You walk, you get up, you walk out of bed, you walk to your fridge. These are things that your body does on a regular basis. It's not a challenge necessarily. So, adding weight to a walk does provide a different stimulus. It is going to kind of max up your walk if you're trying to walk max. But no overselling it here. It does not replace the weights. It's just a way to look like a millennial pretty much. We'll all wave at each other on the way by. You play pickleball?
Hey,
You do
millennials.
bread? Do you make sourdough?
No.
How's your garden? We know what we're doing, guys.
We know what we're doing.
We know
I wanna give another, walk maxing, like, tip that, it could improve your walk. With every, certain amount of steps, including some type of a purposeful movement exercise is a great way to just kind of like, you're already out there. At the end of this block, I'm gonna do 10 air squats. This is a great way to just kind of, like, get some different styles of movement in with nothing added in there. You're already out there. Like, what I've done before, this was particularly when I was, at the end of my pregnancy, and they were like, "You gotta calm down." I was doing, like, air squats, lunges, some jumping squats, like, things like that at the end of, like, some, like, markers that I had on my walks. Just gave it a little extra, like, something to look forward to, something a little spicy, and then you got at the end of it, you go like, "Oh, shoot, did I just do 30 air squats?" And I didn't even know, you just did it 3 times. You know what I mean? You just did 10 3 times, and it just adds up. So I think that adding in any types of those on your walks could be a great way. Even stretching.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I get to this corner, I'm going to do this mobility thing.
Yep.
When I get to this corner, I'm going to do a few air squats. Um, any kind of hills or incline that you can do if you know of some hills in your neighborhood. Because I'm more about the green exercise, and we're going to talk about in a second why that has significantly more benefits than, say, walking on the treadmill. So I know it's really easy to go like, oh, I'm going to go on a treadmill and I'll put the incline up, and
I don't
that's
think
going to
that's easy. I think that you all are psychos, honestly. Why do I
that's
want to
true.
look at a wall? Like, I feel like I'm going crazy on treadmills.
No, it's
And
true.
I
I mean,
get it. A lot of you guys love it, and I'm just like, I'm here for you loving it. But like, I'm like, How long's it been? 30 seconds? Like,
Whoa.
whoa, this is gonna be a long one.
It's like a plank. It's like, so time just stops. So, like, I was kind of meaning like, you can't always measure the hills outside or like find them easily or like whatever. I don't want you, if you live in Florida, it's even harder.
It's
But
flat.
like, yeah, it's a pretty flat place. But anytime that you can sort of increase the incline or walk up a hill, that's always going to be a great way to do it. And then other ways to walk max, walk with somebody. So good for
You're
your
f you're
your
feeling
mental
your
health.
heart there a little bit.
Ugh, your heart and your heart. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we're
If you
connective
can
beings that need, that connection, and sometimes we don't know to reach out for it, but, that can really improve. Another one I wanted to add was, beach, going hills or beach, like, you don't realize that it's so much more difficult to walk in sand,
it's true.
until you're, like, at the other end of it, and you're like, "Wow, that was really hard, and I didn't go that far." It's because the sand is a little bit more difficult to walk in, so and you get the, added, ions from the ocean if you have that readily available to you.
Green exercise, please get outside. If you can walk outside, that's so amazing. We talked a little bit about the research for the circadian rhythms of getting that sunlight into your eyes in the first 30 minutes. But no matter what time of day, green exercise, the studies are just they are just significantly more benefits than walking inside. Researchers think that nature may reduce your nervous system hypervigilance because it gives your brain a break from constant stimulation that you get those, half of our life is, spent with instant gratification and dopamine hits via 15-second videos. So when you are outside, your nervous system can calm down from that constant hypervigilance of like, there's going to be stimulation. And it can just kind of reset itself. And there are numerous studies pointing to the fact that your brain and your body feel safer when they're outside. And that's why I would also encourage you, if you want to listen to a podcast or whatever, but don't be scrolling while you're walking. Enjoy the sounds, the view, the not constant hits of dopamine. And it's a more steady stream that is gonna allow your nervous system to just come down a few notches, and that's why you feel better after a walk. That's why I wanna make sure we're encouraging walking because who doesn't feel better? Raise your hand if you don't feel way better after a walk. Alone, with somebody, long, short, it really doesn't matter.
You never come back
Everyone
and you're like, "Ah, I regret that walk."
never,
But no
you
one ever.
never do, and
Yeah.
that's because it's lowering your cortisol levels, and studies are showing that it's giving your brain a literal reset and your nervous system. So, I
I
mean,
have to tell you guys something. My 4-year-old is now on, summer vacation, and she had a mosquito bite that she was telling someone about, and she was saying, "I have a mosquito bite," and they said, "Where'd you get that?" And she said, "I was in nature." Like like it was this, like, big to do. She said it, like, so I was in nature. Like she had to go. I was like, we went on a walk. Calm down.
she's so pushy.
She is so bougie.
I can't with her bouginess, it's level 10. Um, the
I
other
must have said on the walk, like, "We're out in nature," and she's like,
Oh,
"Oh."
yeah.
"Yeah, it gave me a mosquito bite, mom." I
These
was like,
are
"What?"
the these are the consequences of my time in nature.
My
Um,
god.
I also would lastly implore you to pick up the pace a little bit. Now, I know that some of us we're all walking for sort of different reasons, but no matter what your reason is, you could probably pick up the pace because if you do want some of the benefits, as we said, like adding weight and rucking can be a way to add a little bit of resistance to your walk, and walking a little bit faster can add a little bit of heart health benefits. So, anytime you can raise your heart rate, even if it's pretty slight, it's the research is showing that even increasing your walking pace a little bit is showing notable benefits for everyone across the board. So, how fast you walk is going to actually tell a ton about your overall health. And if you don't believe me, walk with someone from Massachusetts and they will pick up your pace right from the get go because we walk. I didn't know this, but we walk at a speed that alarms other people.
You only find this out if you walk with someone that is not from there. So the first time this was brought to my attention, I was living in Boston and I had a good friend that was from Australia and the other one was from Montana. And they had this like running joke that like when we got to the door, they'd be like starting to stretch like Kelsey's gonna take off. like because and like my Australian friend was like, why are we walking so fast? Like, constantly, and she would be, like,
Because
starting to,
it's a
like,
leisurely thing, but we don't do anything
yeah.
leisurely,
No, we
'cause that's not
really
really in our nature.
take our walks but, like, I had a taste of my own medicine, though, because, my fiancé is very tall and has really long legs, so his just general walking pace is probably about 4 steps for me because he's just striding along like a gazelle, and sometimes I'm like I've, like, literally started jogging, and I'm like, "Why are we going so fast?" Also, someone with ADHD is going
So,
really
I
fast,
don't
but
I don't want to I wanna make sure when we talked about, like, maxing your walks and, like, increasing some of the benefits, I wanna make sure that we're not ever turning walking into a punishment, right? Like,
yes.
walking is supposed to be, it's you want that social connection, you want that outdoor
Don't walk
connection
so
with
fast you
nature.
can't talk to the friend that you're with.
That's what I'm saying. So, like,
Unless that's
we
your
want
jam, I don't know.
unless that's your jam. I mean, maybe some people like to walk together but alone, and that's
Yeah.
okay too. But the goal is not to turn walking into punishment. It's really just to remember that your body is going to thrive on movement, challenge, and variation. So if you are going on the same walk at the same pace with the same incline every single day, there aren't the health benefits that are happening there. Maybe there are still the mental benefits, and that's great if that's what you're using it for. However, variation in your movement and challenge is really what's going to promote that kind of health benefits, that longevity, that extra little bit, if that's what you're using your walks for. So, don't punish yourself. You don't have to go walking with a 20-pound vest. Anyways, for half the people, their posture is going to be so poor doing that it's not even worth the benefits. But once in a while, add some weight. Once in a while, add some air squats. Once in a while, go faster and up a hill. These are ways to really like keep your walking in a place where it's continuing its health benefits if that's your goal.
I love that because you're deciding what your purpose is prior to your walk or even when you're on it, honestly. Because you could start out like, I'll just get to the end of the road. And then you're like, oh, I'll do a little bit more. I'm going to pick up my pace a little bit more. So you can change your purpose as you go along. But when we're looking at walking in general, and as we start to wrap this up, is like, what is your purpose for, going for a walk? Is it just to, you're going for a walk with your family after dinner and it's, your point of connection and you're just kind of strolling along and you're not going to pick up the pace? Or is
And
it,
that's
part of
fine.
your recovery? Yeah, that's great.
There's
Or
a
is it,
4-year-old there that's gonna complain about being in nature. So, you know what? Just walk at a walk at a pace that doesn't
oh, I can
get
have
her
it
bit
and
by
have
mosquitoes, but also doesn't,
to
ruin everybody's time.
So, you define what your purpose is. I think when, we've just when we entered into this, episode about walking and it being so hot and talking about some of the benefits and what you would like to use it for. I think as we are really going to close out walking is that like walking is a foundational movement. It's not the entire house. It's not a complete look at your fitness and you need to have resistance training included in your fitness routine. You need to. But walking is a great part of living a healthy lifestyle, a foundational movement, part of the, your overall mental well-being, and, getting some great movement in that can really add up on a daily basis and get you outside and get you feeling better overall. It's wonderful for that. So it's definitely a tool in your toolbox. But just remember you have others in there as well.
Absolutely. We're not just measuring the amount of steps per day. There's so many other pieces to the puzzle. Here's what I would like to put out as a possible framework for how maybe a well rounded approach to including walking is. Should you walk every single day? I think yes. I think yes.
100%.
10 minutes, an hour, it really doesn't matter. I think you should be walking every single day. If that just means you're walking at your desk when you're working, that's also fine. Like, you're walking every single day, in my opinion, in one form or another. Weekly, you wanna be strength training, okay? So we're gonna get some strength training in at least once or twice a week. We're gonna get some higher intensity cardio, which we're not gonna necessarily count as walking at a leisurely pace. We're not gonna count that as a little bit of higher intensity cardio. You know what that might look like for you. And if that just means to pick up your pace a little bit, then that's great as well. And then we want some mobility and balance work in there. That's what a true well rounded week looks like. Walking every day, lifting down weights once or twice, working up your heart rate once or twice, and then making sure that you're mobilizing once or twice. And if we're looking at the whole self, the goal isn't to just move more, it's to stay capable. That's the actual goal. So it's not just
I don't wanna
burning
throw my back out while
calories.
I'm picking up a watermelon. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
carried a
I
watermelon.
carried a watermelon, and I just like my, like, life goal is to get this messaging out to so many women that, like, we don't that those percentages, when we look in 5, 10 years, those percentages are way down, and we're looking at women who are strong and capable and have been looking to fuel and protect their bones and protect their body into their later years where they are still crushing it. So that, I mean, that ultimately is your goal. Your balance, your mobility, your strength, these are all things that are going to just pay dividends for you right now, but in the future as well. Because what these like walkathon 20 something year olds don't know is they don't know what happens in your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s when you have only walked and you haven't strength trained. And we know.
They
We
don't know what
do.
we know.
They don't know what we know. We know, and we have to tell them, and we have to change what has happened historically, and I believe that we are doing that. So think of those 3 kind of like foundational movements for your week and how you can incorporate those in, and how walking fits in that for sure, but how the whole piece looks like for you.
Walking keeps you moving, strength keeps you capable.
Mhm.
Make sure they're both in there. We love you guys. Have a great week.